Hey, welcome to the Two Stock Movies podcast. I'm Drew.
I'm Cam.
And today we're talking about the Netflix film directed by David Fincher, his new movie, The Killer, starring Michael Fassbender and Cam.
Sophie, Charlotte, Mike, and Monique Ganderton, Tilda Swinton, Arliss Howard, and Charles Parnell.
What a lineup of people that I've never heard of besides Tilda Swinton. Yes, Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, but pretty much the film is about a guy, the killer, Michael Fassbender, and he's pretty much just an assassin going around killing people in different areas, and I think they're spread out throughout different years. How are they spread out through the seasons? Or?
It's spread out through his different locations that he goes on. I think the actual film takes place in the span of a week, maybe. I think it takes place over the span of like a week, but he travels to many different places, and the film kind of breaks up those pieces by having like the location card on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I didn't mean to interrupt. What were you saying?
No, I just didn't know how.
That's it.
Yeah, that's all it is. He just goes around killing people. There's not a lot said. It's to me, it's not all that. I was anticipating, highly anticipating for it because he's got a lot of movies under his belt. He did
well-regarded movies.
7, Social Network, Fight Club. What else?
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Gone Girl as well.
Gone Girl.
He did
Aliens 3.
Zodiac,
Aliens 3, which is not popular to anybody.
I think he has a lot of movies under his belt. And I was looking forward to this for a long time and flopped, man. I made a whole thing out of it. Yeah. I did my routine and just
did your whole routine. It definitely. God, I guess like I'll start. It's hard to think about this movie because like technically, the movie is very well made. It has like, the camera work is fantastic. The audio and video or not. What's wrong?
No, I'm just seeing like what this. Oh, it's this.
Oh, what's going on? Oh, Cam got scared. I was looking at Cam and he was like,
and I was looking to see what this was.
But yeah, like the audio and like the sound effects and everything is really well done. And I even like, I don't know, it's kind of similar to Euphoria in my eyes where it's like the visuals outweigh the story because like the beginning starts with him monologuing to himself, very similar to Christian Bale in American Psycho. Mm-hmm. And I was all in for that. I was like, okay, this is cool because it's not what I was expecting. We get to kind of see like a day in the life of this assassin. And then he messes up the job. He kills the wrong person. And it's just like, okay, that's something. And I think the way it builds up to that part was really cool. But then the movie just becomes generic.
Yeah.
It's a generic, like, action, assassin, revenge story.
I was like, that scene caught me off guard. I mean, I knew it was dragging for a while, but when he actually pulled the trigger, I guess that anticipation for him to actually do something keeps you on edge, and then he missed. You're like, oh, snap, what happens next? Packing stuff up quick, and then it just feels like, it's kind of like, oh, well, let me just go get another person to hit. But yeah, it just didn't. I was just highly disappointed, man.
Why would you say you were disappointed? Were you expecting? Was it because of the stuff he made before, or was it kind of going to this movie you were just not expecting what you thought for this particular movie?
I'd say both. So I went into it thinking it was gonna be about. I guess kind of like the intro scene with like just
more of a character study kind of.
Yeah, just him going around like what's the one? Oh man, I just watched it recently. It was he's going around. I think it's. I need to look at it. What's it called? It's the guy he's going around and he's like. Oh my gosh!
I have no clue.
I'm not even explaining it properly. No Country for Old Men, like that guy. I thought it was gonna be like that.
Okay, that makes sense. And I mean, in a way, he kind of is. I think this character is similar to that character in the way, if only we were able to get inside, what's his name? Sugar something. And Javier Bardem plays him.
Yeah.
If we were able to get inside his mind, that's kind of what we get in this movie. Getting inside the mind of a killer rather than just kind of taking what his appearance is.
Yeah.
That worked for No Country for Old Men, to not do that and just have him be like this, like Michael Myers, like killer, just going around killing people. this movie kind of makes you just kind of wonder what's going on with him.
Mhm.
And I think the worst part about it is just I was really expecting him missing his target and hitting the wrong person, and now the cops are on him. I was ready for a whole movie where he has to like kill people to survive and like get away from the police and like flee and do all that stuff. I was like, okay, cool. But then we figure out he has a girlfriend
Yeah.
that gets beaten up by people that he's like in the mix with in terms of like his assassin business, and then it becomes a revenge on them hurting her. And I was like, David, you could like, come on, really? Like, really? That's what we're going for? Like a John Wick, but
Yeah,
not.
you made Gone Girl, man. You can make this sophisticated, and it didn't even give off that psychological feel. It just felt so surface level.
It felt like it was very, like the first 45 minutes was very introspective, very into the mind of this character, very complex in my eyes. But then as soon as the girl was introduced, like it just became so generic and bland. Granted, it looks great. Like all the shots look great. The sound effects look great. The action's decent. I think that when he fights that big guy in the house, little cartoonish. It's like sped up.
I'm not mad at it because
Something happened.
I felt like nothing was going on the entire time. So when something actually did happen, I'm like, all right, cool, let's keep it going.
Yeah, and I know something that David Fincher loves to do in the way the camera work and the cinematography is like when a character moves, the camera moves with them.
Mhm.
So it's like when he's moving around, like the camera will stop if the character stops, but if he starts walking, the character will follow. And I noticed that happened a little bit, especially with the fight scene. That's kind of where that occurred. But I also thought it was cool how when stuff is like going right for the killer in the beginning, it's like very locked down on the tripod. But then as soon as like when it gets that knock on the door, and someone's there, it becomes like handheld and very like frantic, like, oh God. I thought that was like an easy but effective way on showing a sharp contrast to like the 8 minutes we saw of him just talking to himself. And just like moving around. I don't know. This movie just disappointed me.
I thought you were going to say something different.
You thought I was going to like it?
Yeah, because
I loved the first 45 minutes. I thought like 40 minutes, it was like, oh, I love this. And then I was just like, come on. Like it lost me and then it lost me. And then it came back with the fight scene. Lost me again after that. I'm like, oh my God.
I thought you because you and I talked briefly
David Fincher.
before. I didn't know I did till I saw his entire catalog. But
do you think it has something to do with Netflix's involvement?
I did. I think that's the main reason because I don't see much like outstanding movies with Netflix. Like you could get a good Netflix movie, but it's something that makes you think like, oh wow, like I couldn't imagine Whiplash coming from Netflix.
Nah, I don't know. I don't know how much freedom they gave David Fincher. I feel like they gave him a lot, but it's like Netflix has this thing where no matter how popular or like clever or like how well done movies the director has made beforehand, Netflix just has this way of just making every story they do generic. Like they just it's just no matter what they do, it comes out that way. And that's why like obviously Martin Scorsese and Christopher Nolan, they're like off doing their own thing, and it's like,
no, Michael Barton, he has one with The Irishman.
oh yeah, that was Netflix, but
I like that one.
it was okay. It was probably my least favorite Martin Scorsese movie.
Mean Streets?
I haven't even watched it.
Okay, that movie's boring.
Yeah, I can imagine. But yeah, I guess. I mean, that was probably the best case scenario because I think Martin Scorsese is just so good that he can manage to get away with that stuff.
Yeah.
And David Fincher's good. It's just I don't know. It's a different movie than he usually does. Isn't it? Do you think this like how do you think this relates to his other movies or like in quality?
He made The Game. I didn't even know.
Yeah, Benjamin Button.
Dude, and Panic. He has a lot of freaking movies, man.
Yeah.
He has a catalog, but
How do you think this relates to that catalog? Do you think it's like his lowest movie in your eyes?
I'll be honest. I didn't like Zodiac.
Yeah, I like Zodiac.
No, maybe because it was too long, and I watched this. I think I watched it during COVID, and I think it was too slow.
Too slow.
Because you didn't see the Zodiac killer at all, did you?
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of got the notes.
You see him killing people, but he's like in costume, and like you don't get to see the actual.
Yeah. So I do think this is his worse. I haven't seen everything. Like I haven't seen Mank or Alien 3. Yeah, or
Mank is another Netflix movie. Is it about Orson Welles? I can't remember what it was. I remember that was released last year.
as he or so. Oh, yeah, is that the guy in Citizen Kane?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And made it and everything.
yeah.
I don't think that one was well received either, like compared to his other stuff. But that was also in association with Netflix. And I don't know if he's in a contract. He might be in a contract with them that he like has to make like a number of movies.
That might be true because that one came out in 2020,
Yeah.
and then this one came out in 23. So maybe that's the thing. Maybe
Netflix sucks. I know we talked about before. What movie did we talk about? Was it I See You? I think we talked about Netflix. And
Yeah.
God, they suck. Like they are not good at making content that's like
outstanding.
yeah, like outstanding. Like Marriage Story is like they're good movies. I think there's
I need to watch that.
a few that I'm forgetting, but for the most part, their catalog of originals is just so bland, generic. It's bad.
I think they focus on the shows more because you see how much money they put into Stranger Things, but that thing should have been died like 4 years ago.
Yeah, and even then, some of their shows are like, it becomes the problem of them running them too long to the point where you just lose interest. Stranger Things, I'm about out.
The cast is ready to be done.
They're
with
having
it.
kids. Like,
Yeah.
well, they're getting married, not having kids.
Yeah,
but
then 11. She just got
getting married. Yeah.
Yeah, like what?
It's like, and there's supposed to be there's supposed to be a time jump, but that's a whole episode. We should talk about Stranger Things.
I wouldn't mind. We'd have to go back and rewatch. I wouldn't mind it.
I'm not going back and rewatch. I'll go off memory. I can't watch all that cringe-inducing dialogue.
Yeah.
But back to The Killer. What'd you think of Michael Fassbender's performance overall? Because I thought it was fine.
I don't think it's hard to. Well, one, I don't know who this is. I don't think I've ever.
Fassbender.
Have I seen? I don't think I've seen him in
He's
his.
Magneto in the X-Men movies, but
Didn't see it.
yeah,
So I don't- have I seen 300?
he was also in Inglourious Bastards.
I didn't get through
You
that.
didn't get through that?
Nah, he was in Steve Jobs, the movie.
Yes,
I don't know him.
very
in it,
good
though.
performance. I'd say that is his best performance.
Oh yeah, oh
And
yeah. No,
Here's a Slave. I think he was in that movie.
didn't see that one.
Oscar nominated, I think.
Steve Jobs, is this the one? Which one is this one?
That's where, I mean, obviously he plays Steve Jobs, but it's
Yeah.
about kind of how he, like, him and Wozniak, played by Seth Rogen, kind of their disagreements and kind of just.
Oh, there's two. I think there was I'm thinking of another one.
Ashton
I've seen,
Kutcher.
yeah, I've seen them both, but I don't know which one this was because this one was when they're at the conference beforehand.
Yeah. Much better with Michael Fassbender than Ashton Kutcher, I think.
What?
That's what I think. I haven't seen the one with Ashton Kutcher, but that's what I hear. I hear that
Okay.
Wallfight is just a lot more well regarded.
Okay.
I need to give it a shot because I'm interested to see how Ashton Kutcher did it.
I love that movie. But back to
Sorry, but he's playing a younger one in that, a younger Steve Jobs in that film, right?
in
Jobs with Ashton Kutcher.
yeah, because he was in the college when that was happening. This one he was already established.
Gotcha.
But
Back to The Killer.
yeah, I didn't know who this was beforehand, so I can't give him credit on his previous performances. But in this one, considering he doesn't talk a lot, I don't think it's hard to play a serious character. I mean, he does that narration that goes on for what feels like the entirety of the movie.
But he's not saying those lines. It's monologuing, you know.
Yeah, so it's kind of just him talking over it, him looking serious all the time, which I don't think is hard to do.
I've seen a good amount of his stuff, and even in the X-Men, he is like one of the best actors, like in those movies, and he's a pretty good actor. It's just I don't know, like he's been kind of in the rut recently. Like he hasn't been in a lot of good stuff. Like he was in the Assassin's Creed video game movie, and he in that movie is just bad. But like I said, like his catalog's pretty decent. Like he has a lot of like good, well respected movies in there. This one, I mean, he's good, but I can picture like so many other people who could have done it. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like a career defining role for him.
Yeah.
I think it could have been. I think there was a lot of opportunities for him to like show kind of, because I'm gonna be honest with you guys.
All right, what's up?
I thought this movie, upon the trailer, was gonna be more of a like a horror psycho killer kind of thing, not more of an assassin thriller kind of thing. You know what I mean? A lot less organized, a lot more like sporadic, homicidal. Well, they're both homicidal, but still, you know what I mean. Malicious is the other word.
Good word.
Malignant is the other word. That's all I got. But then I watched it, and I was down for the like assassin plot. Like I was down to see how this calculated person deals with unpredictability in a like when he gets, because he's in a routine at this point, and it's cool to see that. And then it just kind of drags out, especially like I said earlier with the the wife subplot that you get no time with the girlfriend to really care that she got hurt. And then by the end, spoilers, when he decides to leave the assassin business altogether and like recoup with her in like a Brazilian paradise, it's like, first of all, the ending is largely abrupt.
Yeah.
And it's unearned.
There was something, didn't he like twitch or something at the end that kind of left you with something?
He did. I'm not gonna lie, I was fighting some sleep. I was like literally about to fall asleep at this point, but like there is a little thing that he does, but if there's a killer too, I might watch it just to see where they take it, but I doubt that they will because it's underwhelming.
The way they make it seem from the descriptions, it's like it's supposed to sound that he is trying to go, he's talking to himself, he's kind of losing his mind, but I never really got that.
Oh.
I think they tried to throw that in there just to try to correlate it with the psychological aspect, but you don't get that at all.
Like American Psycho.
Yeah, but none of that happens.
And that could have been cool to see kind of American Psycho, but in a more organized crime kind of setting.
Mm-hmm.
Like what if like Patrick Bateman was a hired assassin that like, it's okay to kill people because they get paid rather than like I have to constantly, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That would have been cool. Even the poster itself seems very horror-esque. Yeah, like, it looks eerie and it looks like, oh my gosh, like, you know,
with that old kind of painting,
droopy kind of,
and the eye to the side.
And it's a cool poster. Like I like the eye to the side thing, but it's just, I don't know. It's just I felt nothing after watching it. I felt so disappointed because they hooked me in, and then I was giving them the benefit of the doubt on a lot of things. And then the worst thing you can do in any movie is just bore me, like fizzle out my attention, and like I'm just sitting there going, please stop.
Yeah.
But I mean, granted, I think the soundtrack, I love the Smiths. Actually, I can't really say I love the Smiths when I only really love one song. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. But do you know the Smiths?
I know a couple. I found out, or my best friend listens to them, but I learned more as the movie went on. So
he only listens to the Smiths.
Yeah.
That's a cool. I can only imagine, like, they probably were, like, trying to get the rights to, this, like, the whole catalog of Smith songs, which it's Netflix, so. And I was going to tell you, did you notice all the brand product placement in this movie?
No.
Really?
Huh.
Because at the beginning, he's, like, at McDonald's getting his thing, like, little sandwich, and he's...
That's cool.
I don't know. Does it, I know that probably doesn't bother you. It doesn't really bother me. It's just it sticks out like a sore thumb because this tense scene and all of a sudden cut Subway this, and it's like, okay.
Probably not. No, well, not probably. That's an opinionated question. No, it doesn't bother me. I think because I just learned about it the other week in class, in Drew Britton's class. I pointed at him like he's here.
Yeah, right over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Drew.
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
But he made it seem as though when people have that, it's kind of like a sellout type of thing.
Yeah.
I think you just said that, where they're just trying to get extra funding for stuff. And there was a movie clip, maybe I'll ask him, I'll throw it in here. But when like it's a dialogue between two people and they keep throwing up different brands and that they're just, because the companies pay for them, but they're kind of mocking them by just having a new crappy clip every time.
That's funny.
Yeah, so it doesn't really bother me, but I think it's normal. I think if you do it in an unnecessary way, like you're going out of your way, like, oh, look, I have this new Amazon package. Mm-hmm. But since it's just the truck driving by or him just going to get McDonald's, I kind of just think of it as it's just a part of everyday life. Like, what are you supposed to substitute it with? Like a fake McDonald's?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just, I just have such a bad relationship with Netflix. Like, I have no trust in them. It's my least favorite streaming service, even though, like, at a point, it was my favorite.
Yeah.
Because I was a dumb 7th grader that loved The Office, so I was like, oh, Netflix has it all.
No, they did. I would say they have a good selection, just not good originals. Because they do have some gems. They have gems, just like hidden gems, like uncut gems. Where is it?
Yeah, I asked Luke, and
that's not it.
Yeah, woo!
Yeah, that, you guys know the sound.
That's funny.
But I asked Luke.
I I don't know. I mean, Amazon Prime and Max, since they're up here now in terms of like they make some good originals. They have good well, their catalog's not great. I have to admit that Max's catalog is okay. I mean,
I wouldn't give Amazon.
Prime's catalog is good.
Is it?
It's decent. If you're into like the older movies, newer movies, in some cases it is, but I think in terms of like originals,
Okay.
I think that shows they both are really, really good movies. I don't know. Maybe
I'm on
Prime.
I'm on a movie bit. I've been watching movies for months. Like I haven't watched a new show in a while. So, I mean, I'm watching The Bear, but that's Hulu.
Yeah.
So, and that show's
kind of like
that's kind of like a last resort. Well, no.
If you need like a sitcom or like a Family Guy or something.
Yeah.
But
I'll give you that. Yeah. I'm not caught up on Family Guy.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like now more than ever we're not seeing as many streaming movies as much, because this is like the first streaming movie I've seen like where I'm like, oh, it's gonna be on Netflix. I'm looking forward to seeing it in a long time. Granted, that's only because of David Fincher.
Yeah.
And I feel like Netflix has obviously more quantity of originals, whereas Amazon Prime and Max, I'm like, sometimes Hulu, maybe
they have random ones. Right, because they just had that.
That's true.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
That's true. They have some good shows on there too, I think.
I have a show called See with Jason Momoa. That's very good. And I think
Severance, I think, is one.
I need to go check that out. I need to find new movie. If you guys have any like movie or show,
in the comment section,
because I am blanking. I want to watch Boardwalk Empire or The Wire.
That's on Max, I believe.
Yeah, so I want to go watch that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this movie. It's similar. I'm not gonna say it's similar to Napoleon Dynamite in terms.
Whoa.
Of no, but like in terms of my feelings, this one's not as bad. But I just feel so nothing towards the movie.
Okay.
But this one hurts so much more, Cam, because I was so into it. I was enjoying it thoroughly, and then it just let me down so tragically, and I was just so underwhelmed. And the ending was just a little flick on the forehead of just like you just wasted all your time.
I wonder how Heach really feels about it. Because I'm pretty sure he's got, like, every PR answer is like, oh, they're all...
And I love it.
Yeah, they're all, like, my children. I can't pick my favorite one. But, like...
Bull crap.
Yeah, like...
Pick one. Fight Club, 7.
Social Network.
Social Network is probably my favorite out of the bunch. Fight Club's... Dude movie, the biggest dude.
Yeah, that's not one of my favorites.
I like Zodiac.
I think Gone Girl, that's my favorite.
Like, it's okay.
Because it's so...
Off.
Like, yeah, like she's ruining everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
I do have a soft spot for Social Network. The dialogue in that movie is just so nicely written. Everything's formulated to keep your attention the entire way through, and there's never a dull moment. And I love that. It's so awesome. Plus, what were you saying?
Don't tell me his name. Do not tell me his name.
The main character.
Don't tell me. It's Mark Zuckerberg, but
we'll be here all day.
I don't. Oh my gosh!
I gotta tell you,
it is not Elijah Wood. It is.
People mistake that. Well,
what's his first? What's the first letter?
First letter of his name?
Yeah.
Jesus, Jesse
Eisenberg.
Yeah. I almost said Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, it's
Jesse Eisenberg. Yeah,
Andrew Garfield as the
guy. He was a great pick, I think, because he has like that know-it-all attitude already.
A piece of dog crap.
And know it all, and I think that was a great casting choice.
Yeah, I guess this episode's really just considered the David Fincher.
Might as well be.
We have to, because this movie just doesn't have anything that, like, in 5 years, is anybody going to be talking about The Killer?
No, we're still going to be talking about.
And it's sad because every movie he's made, I think people have talked about for a good, like, at least the majority, like, rave reviews and made a lot of money. And this one's just kind of like, people are like, yeah, I really enjoyed it. That's it.
Yeah.
Not mind-blowing.
It was all right.
But, I mean, as a director, like, I'm sure that's not what he's going for at this point. You know what I mean? He's not going to, like, blow away everybody.
You think he's trying to, like, do new things and try to experiment?
Try to experiment, kind of branch out, do different things for himself. And if it's not if people don't like it, it's kind of like, well, doesn't really matter. I made a lot of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He kind of has that right to do that, but I just wish the outcome was just a little more original, a little more, less forgettable.
I think what you said about him having like this one being boring is a good point because all of his have some. He doesn't have like blockbuster movies. These are all kind of unique, like Fight Club and Seven, Gone Girl, Zodiac. Those are all kind of psychological, mystery, eerie. I think that's a good word, eerie type of movies. Mm-hmm. And this one is just kind of like it's made for Netflix. Like I don't think he would have made this on his own.
They're not like blockbusters, but they're so good that they turn in to like well-reviewed movies, if that makes sense. Like you're not going to see people outside the theater lining up to watch The Social Network, but I mean, it won Oscars. Benjamin Button won Oscars. Zodiac, not sure, but he's kind of, and I guess he's in like the same realm as Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino, where they're not like big. Steven Spielberg, that's a blockbuster director, where people will line up to watch his movies. These are people who make what they want to make. What's the word? I'm trying to think. My first time, I can't think of a word, but very, I guess different. Everything's different that he makes, but he keeps this style of, like you said, eeriness. Even in The Social Network, like when Andrew Garfield like smashes that computer at him, there's that like, or when he's about to punch Justin Timberlake, there's that like music cue where it's like it's played off as kind of like this eerie, like, oh my god, and he kind of has that. I'm surprised he hasn't made a flat-out horror movie. You know what I mean?
Alien 3 is in one?
I mean, that's like a monster movie kind of thing, but there's a lot of studio interference in that movie. That he hates that movie.
Studio interference? Like, they were just telling him what to do?
And he had like no creative say, which I'm surprised he went to Netflix if...
Yeah, that was the case.
Yeah. But overall, what would you give this movie out of 5 stars?
I wrote on my notes. Let me see.
I reviewed it on Letterboxd, which, by the way, you need to get Letterboxd because it's cool. It's a nice...
I feel like that's too... I have a lot of...
It's a nice...
I feel like I would try to put every movie I've ever seen, ever.
Yeah.
And do you have to write a review for every single one?
No, you have the choice to. You can... I'm trying to see what I put there. I guess I can tell you mine real quick. If I can get my... Let's see here. I gave it 3 stars. And I did that because I think that the movie is kind of bland in its story, but there's so much visual and everything. Like I said, the fight scene was very entertaining, a little cartoonish, but everything looks cool. The camera shots are so pretty. The sound is really good. It's just such a good movie to look at. But I'm a guy who really needs a good story to back that up. This movie didn't have it. So I gave it the benefit of the doubt and gave it a 3, which is always my go-to score.
I gave it a 2 out of 5. I usually give everything kind of the benefit of the doubt, and I kind of think of it like, oh, well, they tried to do it this way. I kind of see how they went about it, but it just didn't come across correctly. But I don't. I just kind of gave it to what I felt, and I won't watch it again. It disappointed me.
And forget about it after we...
Yeah, like we'll talk about... You remember The Killer from... The Killer? Like that one David Fincher movie from... Yeah, so... Nothing too impressive about it. I would not recommend going to see it.
I would. I mean, if you're a film guy, if you like appreciate film, you love film, go watch it. If you're someone who's, looking to be, if you're just a general viewer, I wouldn't. You're not going to miss out on anything. You're not going to get anything from it.
I do the opposite. If you're not a film guy, if you're not a film person, and you're kind of just looking for whatever, I'd love to watch it. Yeah.
I think, because like for me, the only good thing about the movie to me was the visuals. So if you're like a film guy who loves the visuals, go for it. If you're someone who like is just looking for a movie to watch, I guess I can see what you're saying. I guess that's from my perspective. So,
yeah. So I guess different audience.
So don't listen to what I'm saying at all. Listen to what Cam's saying.
No, listen to him because if you're into this film stuff, watch it if you want.
Yeah, just do whatever you want. Why are we telling you? We don't know what we're talking about
for just
in terms of what people are doing these days. We're just college kids just trying to eat food during the day. But yeah, that was the episode of The Killer by David Fincher. Will he make another Netflix movie that's decent? I doubt it, but we will see. This has been the Two Dudes Talk Movies podcast. I'm Drew.
I'm Cam.
And we will see you next week. Leave a comment below for our next movie if you'd like. We'd love you if you did. See you later.
Bye.